What's the name?
Yes, there's a monster.
K? Right back up. Keep on going. I told him to take the day off. So I stopped with my first name. Like this. Yeah, they went back. 10:15. All I did was smile. And the substitute teacher was up until
just the same one. Just the one.
I never understood.
Buenos días, bienvenidos, good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tucson on this Labor Day weekend. My name is Bob Gordon, and I'm the worship associate today. First of all, please be sure that your cell phone is turned off, or at least on mute. There are 2 gender-specific bathrooms in the lobby of this building, and in the alcove behind the AV equipment here, there is a gender-neutral bathroom, which is also wheelchair accessible. In Goddard Hall, across the patio, there are 2 more gender-neutral bathrooms, one of which is also wheelchair accessible. And finally, we offer a more casual setting for worship in Goddard Hall. Since COVID vaccines first became available, the members of this church community have been committed to being fully vaccinated and boosted. And by the way, I should say the new booster is out, and I had mine on Thursday with no serious reaction. For everyone's sake, we encourage you to maintain this commitment and to join us from home if you're not feeling well. On behalf of the congregation, I extend a warm welcome to any visitors, including those visiting on live stream. Everyone is welcome here, especially those of you who are searching for a spiritual home. Many of us have come here seeking something larger than ourselves, to which we can belong, a sense of rootedness to hold us as we create meaning and community together. Whether it's your first time with us or your 1,000th time, we hope that you'll find here questions that stretch you, people to befriend you, and liberal religious values that challenge you to join us in living boldly, loving justly, and welcoming everyone.
Good morning. Those of you I haven't met, my name is Reverend Bethany Russell Lowe, and I have the great pleasure and honor of serving as minister of this congregation. And it's good to see so many new faces. Our words for a call to worship this morning come from my colleague, Reverend Gretchen Haley. She writes, "Come in rejoicing if joy is on your heart. Bring your praise, your sense of wonder. Fill this place with your gladness at life's sweetness, at sweet surprise. And come in grieving if loss is in your bones. Bring your anger and your struggle, your deep disorientation, your longing for what was, what no longer remains, your longing for what has never been. Come in confessing if regret burdens your soul. Bring yourself and all your humanity, your imperfections and your short-sightedness, your impatience and your struggle to be here in this moment as it is. Come in with all of yourself, just as you are, for here is a place for the living, a place for real life, this momentary, mundane, miraculous mess. Here is a place for the remembering, all of it, all of ourselves, all the ways we remain connected in this common course, held in a love that through it all calls us on. Come, let us worship together.
These words for chalice lighting are from Paul Doutzel. On this Sunday before Labor Day, we light this flame to honor all work. Not only the work we do for pay with our hands, our backs, or our minds, that's important, yes, but also the work we do for love, the work we do to help others stay alive and to belong instead of being outcasts, the work we do to ensure that people are paid fairly, work reasonable hours, and have quality in their lives, the work we do caring for the young, the elderly, the infirm, the work we do to mentor, to educate, to advocate, and to enrich the community the country, and the world. We honor all the labors that support our world and all the work we do to make this a better place.
About 115 years ago, the song "The Water is Wide" was sung to a song catcher in the Appalachian Mountains, and it lay transcribed in the back of a book for about 50 years until Pete Seeger began to sing it in the middle of the 20th century, and it caught. Hal Hobson later was inspired by 1 Corinthians and laid the lyrics we're about to sing onto the tune. Would you please rise and sing this song that celebrates love and community? Though I may speak with bravest fire.
This church community is strong. It can hold our pain, our joy, our love, our anger. A shared bowl, which we use every week for joys and sorrows, is strong enough to hold the big rocks, which symbolize our collective celebrations and mournings, and also the smaller stones that we will put in to signify our individual joys and sorrows. This week I'm thinking again of the citizens of Gaza who are now, in addition to everything else, fighting polio. There is, however, a ray of light I saw today. According to the UN, starting today, there will be pauses in the fighting to allow for the vaccination of 640,000 children. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but we'll see. We who live in the desert know that water is a self-sustaining and scarce resource. Let's remember those desert people who came before us, first to this place, and honor the Hohokam, the Yavapai, the Tohono O'odham, the Yaqui, and all those other tribal entities that no longer exist in Arizona. Let's also remember those who are walking through the desert now without adequate water. We pour water from a plastic jug, like those used by our ministry partner, No More Deaths, to bring water to those crossing the desert. If you want to share your joy or sorrow with us online, I invite you to go to menti.com and put in the code, which you see right there, 5117-2513. If you're here in person and need a little help with that, Reverend Bethany will circulate and help people that need it. Now you're welcome to come up to the table and put a stone in the water to symbolize your joy or sorrow. The pebbles create ripples of hope and connection.
Read our mentee responses before our words for prayer. Joy to share. My father-in-law has returned home from hospital and is feeling better. My son, who planned to quit college, has returned to school for his senior year. Joy indeed. Thanks for sharing, friend. Thank you for letting me rest in the love here, oh, always. Welcome and happy birthday to Annie. Welcome, happy birthday. Asking for good vibes, blessings, and prayers of healing for my grandmother so that she may feel better and be well enough to travel from California to see her great-grandchildren. Oh, traveling prayers for her, hoping she gets here. Joy for a family get-together this week. Happy to feel welcome and loved, grateful to be working through triggers of PTSD and getting over my past so I may help my family thrive in love, learning, and fun. Grateful for your journey, friend. I invite everyone into a spirit of meditation, prayer, contemplation, whatever that looks like and feels like for your body, for your mind. And I offer, if you need them this morning, these words of prayer from my colleague, Reverend Tess Bomberger, called If Bell Hooks Wrote 1 Corinthians. This is based on Bell Hooks' book, All About Love. I'm sure it's on some of your bookshelves. It's on mine. Reverend Tess Bomberger writes, love is caring, affectionate, and loyal. It recognizes, knows, and respects the other. Love is committed and trusting. Love takes the risk of loving. Love is never hurtful, abusive, or neglectful. It does not coerce or dominate. Neither does it spoil or overindulge. Love is ethical, accountable, and responsible. Love does not lie to avoid conflict or to manipulate. Love does not lie to trick or deceive. Love is open and honest, but with a positive slant. Love lives with integrity that wills cooperation. Though it is satisfying to love, love is not about getting one's needs met, nor solely about meeting others' needs. True love is made of mutuality. Love is a generous giver, and in giving, it learns to receive. Love places another's interests on the same footing as our own. Love is not so much a feeling as an action, a contributing, active choice to nurture another's well-being. There can be no love without justice and equality, and therefore love requires that we subvert patriarchy, white supremacy, consumerism, ableism, anti-queerness, and all other forms of oppression. Amen, and may we make it so. Yes, amen to the choir. It's good to have you back. Our reading this morning comes from Reverend Sean Parker Dennison. The title is Letter from Our Better Angels. They write, Dear one, we have received your letter, and we hate to tell you, not hate so much, but are a bit afraid to say, we cannot grant your requests as stated, but can only remind you of familiar things. First, faith. Faith in yourself and trust in others. We know it can be terrifying to be vulnerable, but only when we share your softest side will we be able to break through. Next, hope. Hope is not an empty fairy tale. It is the true story of all the times human beings like you have found a way to create the future, though you didn't know how. And of course, love. Love that demands you cherish all people, not just yourself and safety. Love is not satisfied until every argument ends abruptly when one child says, that hurts. There is so much to learn and relearn. The world teaches you to be hard, to negotiate and defend, to avoid giving too much to the wrong people. There are no wrong people. You are also not wrong. And when you encounter the poor, the broken, the unhoused, and unwelcome, you are looking, if you pay attention, at us, calling at you, calling you to answer your own prayers. If you want to change this world, first, be sure you are changing yourself. Be tender, be kind, be at peace. Be all the things you wish for. Be your own better self. It isn't without cost, but it will be free. That ends our reading. One of those mornings where I could just stop now and we could just sing and then leave, right? I got more words though. Some of you know that I went to Andover Newton Theological School, which is a liberal Christian seminary, at the time was located outside of Boston. As a lifelong Unitarian Universalist, I rarely felt out of place at that liberal Christian seminary until I took systematic theology. The class was a study of, I think you could say, the building blocks of Christianity. And the professor wasn't asking us to adopt any Christian theology if it wasn't our faith, but he was challenging us to use these building blocks, this framework of Christian systematic theology, to define our own theology. So naturally, the class began with God. Well, Jesus, God, yes. The answer is yes. And then moved to the nature of humanity and creation, the figure of Jesus Christ. At that point, I added in other prophets into my analysis, of course, right? The course continued into reconciliation, forgiveness, the purpose of the church, salvation, devotional practices. And throughout the semester, I was struggling to wrap my head around how to translate what I was learning about Christian systematic theology onto anything resembling Unitarian Universalism. The answer to all these big questions was, it depends. It varies. There's a diversity of belief on that topic. I was pretty frustrated, and not in small part because I didn't have a final paper topic yet. And then, squeezed in between the Thanksgiving break we had and our finals week, we got to the topic that made it all make sense to me. I'm going to say a big seminary word here, but I'll define it later. Eschatology. Anybody heard of eschatology before? Yeah, a few of us have. A few people who've been to seminary are really interested in this. Eschatology is, in a Christian sense, the study of the end times, because that's their ending, right? But in a broader sense, eschatology is the study of death and endings and what we do right here, right now, to prepare for the death and the endings. And that it was that what we do now to prepare that resonated deeply with my understanding of Unitarian Universalism. Because whether or not we believe there's a heaven, an afterlife, a next life, or simply a return to creation, what unites us as Unitarian Universalists is an agreement that what we do now matters most. How we are with each other here matters most. How we treat other beings, the earth, all creation in this life matters most. And I learned then that Ars Theology starts with action and behavior, not belief. It starts with how we agree to treat each other and treat ourselves. We Unitarian Universalists start from a place of agreeing to treat each other with equity, dignity, and love. And from this place, we learn that we can hold that wide embrace of beliefs and practices that we encompass. And it's from this place of covenant that we are able to extend that broad welcome. There's been a shift, though, in Unitarian Universalism I've noticed, from focusing on personal belief to many of us, some of us, focusing on covenant. It's very alive in our denomination right now. And it makes sense. For many years, Unitarian Universalism was a haven for the theologically discarded, for those people or families who didn't fit into the box of just one religion, or for those who rejected or were rejected by conservative theologies, or simply those who didn't and couldn't believe but wanted community. This led us to focus for a period of time, a few decades, on belief. But freedom of belief, right? Freedom to choose. Freedom to integrate science and spirituality and not let one supersede the other. These were and continue to be important themes for us. But after a few decades of dwelling in the beautiful dissonance and the harmony of theological diversity, many realized that we needed something to help us hold that wide embrace of our faith. And over time, covenant has become something that helps us hold. A covenant is very simply agreement about how we treat each other and act towards each other. And covenants have helped us move from thinking we can believe whatever we want to being part of a community that is trying to help everyone be their best self. Covenants help us shift from I to we, from personal freedom to collective strength, from focusing on belief to focusing on action. I think that covenants are the eschatology of Unitarian Universalism, that thing that helps us understand how to act now, to help us guide our actions so that we can be the people we want to become and build the world we dream about. That's a little bit of a teaser for me to say, a small announcement here. If you're wanting to know where do we go from covenant and how do we build a Unitarian Universalist theology that starts with action, ministers across Arizona are collaborating this year on a statewide faith development curriculum. It's called Creating Theology Together. So Unitarian Universalists across Arizona are going to come together to take this curriculum led by a dozen UU ministers and religious educators. This curriculum, if you've been around a while, is a modern reimagining of building your own theology, which was popular in the 1990s and early thousands as an adult religious education curriculum. But this curriculum, Creating Theology Together, lives in the shift from I to we. You hear it from building your own theology to creating theology together. As we were imagining this statewide curriculum a few months ago, Reverend Tina Squire, one of my colleagues, who some of you know, joked that we should call it UUAF, which some of you might be snickering and laughing now. It's meant to be a joke. Some of you are smirking and get it. If you're not yet, let me define it. AF is an acronym for the phrase as, and then a four-letter word starting with F that I don't have to say out loud for you to know what I mean. AF, as. When used, AF, this acronym together, means to emphasize and intensify an adjective, right? So if Unitarian Universalist is the adjective we're claiming, AF is accentuating and intensifying Unitarian Universalism. My colleague's joke has stuck, and we are calling this unofficially UUAF, learning how to be UUAF. Because Arizona needs our life-saving message, the message that we are whole and holy just as we are, that all beings deserve to be treated with dignity, that reason and science are not incompatible with religion, spirituality, and faith. And this country needs our saving message, that we can treat each other better, to say the least, that we don't have to agree to be in community, that we don't have to agree to be in community with each other, and that love is stronger than hate. And this world needs us to articulate these messages loudly and clearly and compellingly. The world, our communities need us to be UUAF, to put love at the center of all we do, to act and work and believe from a place of love, care, compassion, and empathy. And when I say love here, I mean all the ways that Bell Hooks describes love in her book, All About Love, which Reverend Baumberger's words of prayer were based on. I'll repeat some of those words back to you. True love is made of mutuality. Love is a generous giver, and in giving learns to receive. Love places another's interests on the same footing as our own. Love is not so much a feeling as an action, a contributing, active choice to nurture another's well-being. There can be no love without justice and equality. Therefore, love requires that we subvert patriarchy, white supremacy, consumerism, ableism, anti-queerness, and all other forms of oppression. The world needs us to embody all these types of love. When we love this way, we put love at the center of what we do. And when we do this, we are expanding the reach of Unitarian Universalism into a movement for collective liberation. Putting love at the center of what we do is not new to us. We have a long history of putting love at the center. Just looking back at the past century, when we have welcomed people of all beliefs, even no belief, to our congregations, when we said, bring your belief and your disbelief, your questions and your answers, your reason and your science, we were putting love at the center. When we welcomed gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and non-binary people to our congregations in the 1970s, right on through to today, when we said, you are whole and holy just as you are, we were putting love at the center. When we extended our embrace of humanism to ourselves on the path to becoming a multi-faith community, welcoming all people from a variety of spiritual practices to join us to work together to build a better world, when we said, bring your whole selves here, we were putting love at the center. And when we got really serious about bringing our love out into the world for civil rights, the sanctuary movement, LGBTQIA+ rights, immigrant rights, Black Lives Matter, and saving our democracy, when we were inspired by Dr. Cornel West's saying, justice is what love looks like in public, we were putting love at the center. And now is our next era of putting love at the center. We are being called to focus on our actions rather than just our beliefs, on our love rather than our perfectionism, on collective liberation rather than the freedom to be and act however we want. Civil rights activist Fannie Lou Hamer said, I'm not free until everybody is free. If we are to become UUAF, we must be inspired by Fannie Lou Hamer's conviction and do that work of collective liberation, getting everybody free from all that binds them. Some of you are sitting there saying, where do we begin then? Reverend Sean Parker Dennison answers that at the end of their poem. They write, if you want to change the world, first be sure you are changing yourself. Be tender, be kind, be at peace. Be all the things you wish for. Be your better self. It isn't without cost, but it will be free. Be tender, be kind, be at peace, be all the things you wish for. Then focus on the next right action. Shift from I to we. Put love at the center so that we can work for collective liberation. This is how we emphasize the good of our faith and intensify the power of Unitarian Universalism. This is how we become UUAF.
This congregation depends on you. It does. On us. To share our time, our talents, and our treasures. That is, our money. For those of you here in person, the ushers will circulate baskets for your donations. If you're watching online, you can send a check to the church website. You can send a check to the church office. You can give online at uuctucson.org/donate, or you can text 833-361-5796. We also acknowledge that many of us support the church with regular automatic donations. Let us now give, both freely and generously, an offering that will sustain and strengthen our shared religious community, a community of hope, of memory, of faith, and of love. For we are now the keepers of the flame, a flame that burns for justice, for the dream of a beloved and radically welcoming community, and for the vision of a world made whole. As the offering is taken, there will be announcements about upcoming activities on the screen. A couple of additional announcements. As always, we invite everyone to stay after social hour through the double doors across the patio in Goddard Hall after the service. There'll be beverages, snacks, and conversation, all for free. Although we welcome donations to help defray costs. Also in Goddard, you'll find the Welcome Center, where friendly people will answer your questions about Unitarian Universalism and about this congregation. If you're new to UUCT and want to stay in touch with us, you can fill out a visitor's or guest information card there. You can also find those online in the newcomer section of our website. With two more announcements that I got this morning. Next week, Sunday, September 8th, will be our annual water communion service. You're invited to bring a small vessel of water with you to church. Small. We will have water here, though, for those of you who do not bring their own. And lastly, calling all musicians, poets, singers, performers, and those who enjoy listening to them. That's everybody, right? Next Friday, September 13th at 6 p.m., we kick off our second Friday open mic night. See Mel Fish, it's around somewhere, or Wendy Gordon Weeks with any questions.
Please join in and sing the gratitude song. We're gonna just go to the gratitude song and sing our children in right now. So the gratitude song, we are grateful for community, for gifts we share and how we show our love and care, and clanking minds and helping hands will build a place where love and hope expands.
Thank you. Usually we have our youngest friends sit in our soft space, but today, friends, I'd like to invite you to find your grown-ups, because I'm going to ask you to talk to them. So will you find Otis? You probably need to stay with Miss Lily. But can our other young friends find their grown-ups? Will you stay with Miss Lily? Yeah, thank you. Ben, you can find your grown-up. Everybody? Okay, well, if you stay there, you have to talk to each other. Okay, so today during service, Reverend Bethany gave us a lot of ideas about things like what love is, right? She said, when we put love at the center of what we do, we're expanding the reach of Unitarian Universalism into a movement for collective liberation for all people. She gave us a lot of ideas about what love is. And now that you've had time to let that roll around in your brain, I'd like you to take a minute and talk to somebody near you about what you think love is. When we were talking about the Article 2 revisions, this is the question that I got the most, is what does that mean? What is love? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes, talk with somebody near you, go. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. right, there's your time. Finish up your conversation. Finish up your conversation. I want to hear some. What is your conception of love? Who's got one? Shout it out and I'll repeat it in the microphone. Say it loud, Maggie. I hear non-judgmental. Universal energy of life. Whoa. Say it again, Athena. Say it again. Caring. Acceptance. Thank you. Unconditional. Love is a verb.
Love dwells in between being nice and being kind.
Love is between being nice and being kind. Okay, say it again. Authenticity. Mercy. Trust. Forgiveness. Any others? Safety. Prentice Hemphill says, love is the distance, boundaries are the distance I can love you and love me simultaneously. So love has some boundaries in it. So how do we show our love, AF? How can we show our love? We can say it, right? But how do we as UUs go out into the world and show love? Anybody? Be caring. Be caring with others. Listening to others. Helping. Sandy. Make food. Absolutely. How else? Yes, Ann. Hugging people. Giving affection. How else? Checking in. How are you doing today? What else? Helping people cross the street. How else?
Being a safe person.
Say it again?
Being a safe person.
Being a safe person.
Saying
right?
welcome on Sunday mornings.
Say welcome on Sunday mornings. We have a job for you. Jasper. Yes. How else? Respecting the rules. Respecting people's boundaries, right? If I say don't hug me, you don't hug me. Yes.
Caring for the earth and all the life in it.
Caring for the earth and all the life in it. Beautiful. How else? Is it love to go out to a protest and march? Yes. Yeah. We have Pride Parade coming up. Who's joining us? At the end of September? Yeah. That's love in the world. What else is love in the world? Voting. Voting is love in the world. What else? How else do we show up as love in the world?
Speaking up for the oppressed.
Speaking up for the oppressed, right? Whether it's small ways here at church or big ways at our workplace or globally through politics. So we have work to do, don't we? If you would like to join or think about joining UUAF, Creating Theology Together, I will have some interest signs. We can send you some more. There's some flyers over in Social Hour. We'd love for everybody to join us. We would love for UUCT to show up in numbers for this program. Thank you all.
Several hundred years ago, our last song was a sea shanty, and then it got written down in the Southern Harmony in 1835. UU musician and artist Connie Campbell Hart wrote the lyrics today that allow us to celebrate a love that sustains us when we are in need. Please rise and sing What Wondrous Love. Wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul. What wondrous love is this, O my soul. What wondrous love is this that To love and to all friends, I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends, I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end, I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end, I will sing.
To extinguish our chalice, these words from Eric Hepburn. Please join me on the response lines. We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore and rest, engage and heal, love remains the center. And when all we can see is cold ashes, love remains.